Times in Moscow. Mary, good to see you. What do you make of what the Prime Minister said?
Well, I have to say I was rather taken aback because Boris Johnson is going to Moscow next month, and it looked as though maybe things were on a sort of downswing as far as anti-Russian attacks were going. And suddenly we have the strongest words for a very long time from the Prime Minister, but using all these familiar cliches like weaponizing information, and undermining democracies, and yet it's all very indefinite. It almost, it doesn't seem to be us that the Russians are accused of attacking.
Well, does it matter who the Russians are attacking if they are? I mean, by the implications that they're sending out vast amounts of misinformation to try to consolidate their own position within the world hierarchy. Well, that is concerning, isn't it?
Well, I think it would be more concerning if the Prime Minister had talked about it, say, 18 months ago or even a year ago, but to give the impression that there's somehow something's gone wrong with the Brexit referendum or indeed the general election, that somehow the Russians are culpable. Why talk about it now? I mean, this is a very, very long time afterwards. If it's that urgent and that serious, why aren't our intelligence services out there on the case? Why isn't there an inquiry in Parliament? It's very strange that it seems to come completely out of nowhere.
I mean, to be fair, we don't know what the intelligence services are doing or have been doing in previous months and what she's been able to say up until this point, do we?
No, well, that's true, but her Foreign Secretary, Boris Johnson, was up before the Foreign Affairs Committee only about 2 weeks ago, and he was asked specifically about whether there was any evidence of Russian meddling here, if he had any information about it, and he sort of rifled through his notes, and then eventually he sort of looked up to them and he said in his own inimitable way, "Not a sausage, yet." So somehow either something huge has changed in the last 3 weeks, or, I mean, it has to be said that maybe the Prime Minister and the government are looking for some distraction, if in doubt, blame the Russians, from the whole difficulties with the Brexit problem.
But I suppose the issue with that is we don't know if there is any tangible evidence of Russian interference in our electoral process here, but there is certainly obviously concern about what is happening elsewhere in the world, I mean, particularly in the United States.
Well, I mean, you say that. I've followed every twist and turn of what's going on in Washington, and frankly, I can't see a single thing that proves that the Russians interfered in the American election in order to secure the election of Donald Trump. I simply don't see any of that evidence.
Well, to be fair, there may be a lot of people agreeing with you, but that investigation is underway as we speak, isn't it? I mean, there's certainly some cause for concern. Whether it proves to be true or not, we have to wait and see.
Well, I think we withhold judgment until the various investigations are complete. But to jump to conclusions, as everybody seems to be doing, certainly in Washington, maybe to a lesser extent here, is obviously premature.
Okay, Mary Dejevsky.